right. I know I'm the person that stands between you and some food. But I did want to say something before I start my really constellation of thoughts after taking in all that has been said that has been so salient. I want to make sure you all know there are male law school deans, black men, and I want to just give them a shout out. Horace Anderson is at Pace, James Hackney is at Northeastern, Vince Rougeau is at BC, Boston College, Mark Alexander is at Villanova, Len Baines is at University of Houston, Craig Boyce is at Syracuse University, and David Brennan is at Louisville?
Yeah, Louisville, Kentucky.
Louisville, Kentucky. And I might, he's at Kentucky, I misspoke. And he's going to be an ACE fellow next year.
And Jean-Pierre.
And Jean-Pierre, right. Where's Jean-Pierre?
Jean-Pierre's in the group.
Where is Jean-Pierre? Thank you, yes. Okay, I don't want people to forget that we are a diverse group of black leaders and law schools. And I want to just talk about lawyers as leaders. And I want to read a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Quote, "May I stress the need for courageous," that's what we're going to talk about, intelligent, that's what you all are, and dedicated leadership. Leaders of sound integrity. Leaders not in love with publicity, but in love with justice. Leaders not in love with money, but in love with humanity. Leaders who can subject their particular egos to the greatness of the cause," end quote. And I want to suggest to you that this time has to be your time. There is too much at stake for you not to think about being a leader in the law. And I pose this question to you. When you look at the leadership, whether it's in politics, whether it's in business, those folks on TV, media, in multiple spaces, multiple areas in the law and beyond, you know many of them are leaders because of their legal training, whether they practice or whether they don't, because what lawyers do is we are problem solvers. We are professional problem solvers. We are analytically trained, and we bring that into the space to cure, hopefully cure, not create, society's ills. There are many problems, I would suggest to you, in just about every space. Name one, say health, oh, education, oh, right? Criminal, I don't even call it the criminal justice system anymore, the criminal legal system, right? Go from every single zone of expertise, every single substantive area and critical area of our society. We need you. We need you. And I'm saying to you what I say to my own kids. We've got 3 millennials, and my generation and the generation before me has created a mess in so many spaces. And our job is to support you, get you to the table, have you at the table, and not get in your way. But to tee you up for success, because if you are not at the table in all of these spaces, you are often on the menu. I'm just gonna, right? If you are not on the table, you and your communities, my communities, all that we collectively care about will be devoured. I think we see it. So yes, it is hard. It's hard because it's different. It's hard because it's voluminous. It's hard for everybody. Some people just fake it until they make it, right? I always say I got an A+ in 10th grade drama. I use that A+ in 10th grade drama every day, right? But what you also realize as you go through this journey is just because there are people in those rooms that don't look like us most of the time, and trust me, that is our lives every day.
Every single day.
Doesn't mean they know more than you know. And it does not mean they are smarter than you. Don't be deceived by their A+ in 10th grade drama. So do not sell yourself short. Do not listen hard. Someone on an earlier panel challenged us to listen hard. And I dare say when you get to law school, and you will go to law school, I don't care which one you go to, I hope you come to mine, but you need to get into the profession and you need to transform the profession, because if you transform the profession, you will transform society, our democracy, and the world. That's how it works. That's how it works. And when you go to law school, you listen hard, because often he, who speaks loudest does not necessarily know the most. Listen hard, because you are that balance and you are that check, but you are also that person who brings you into the space. And as I started with, we need you. And we need our histories. And I'm Jamaican, so like I gotta quote Bob Marley. So if you don't know your history, right? You're not gonna know where you're coming from, right? And you know how Buffalo Soldier goes, then you wouldn't have to ask me, who the heck do I think I am? You know who you are, and we need you. So let me talk about what I have come to be, which is a student of power. That doesn't mean I have it. That means I try to exercise the discretion I have towards the end of justice and use the power that I have been granted as a privilege in this role to transform what I think needs to be transformed, okay? As a student of power, I think we need you in every space where there is discretion. And where there is discretion in all of the areas in society that you can speak to just as well as I, it's typically not exercised in our favor. That's power. We need you to move into these spaces, and I don't care whether it's one of the areas that we know there is much to talk about in terms of justice, the criminal legal system, immigration, health. You call it out. You know the poverty law, right? You can call out the areas that we typically think about. But I want to challenge you to also think about intellectual property, right, Danielle? Yep. I want to challenge you to also think about securities and business law. I want to challenge you to think about patent arbitration, mediation, technology innovation, disruptive technologies, antitrust, bankruptcy, tax. What is tax but the study of power and the reification of the class system? And if you don't know that, how are you going to dismantle it? If you don't know that, you are basically saying, I opt in and opt out of being at that table where the whole system that confines us is constructed. That's your choice. Opt in. And don't dare believe the hype when people are like, oh, it's really hard, security is really hard, corporate transactions is really hard. Because what, you're smarter than me? Why are people telling us how hard everything is going to be like we're idiots? Okay? So you know you are here and where you are because you have the capacity. You didn't get where you are by being stupid. In fact, you've had to do more, right. I dare say. Right. So don't believe that hype when you're in law school, like, oh, these courses are really hard, or that's going to be really hard. Yeah, I know that because I'm smart. Mm-hmm. You weren't born yesterday. Right. So I dare say all those spaces that are not filled with us need to be taken over by us. We need to move on into those spaces just like we understand some of the other spaces, the criminal legal system, crimmigration, and whatnot, okay? Mm-hmm. So dare yourself, right? As Eleanor Roosevelt said, and I said this to my daughter the other day as she's like in some econ classes, she's like, I don't know, mommy. And here's the quote, you must do the thing you think you cannot do. You must do it. We need you to do it. Too much is at stake for you to think it's too hard. We need you, all right? The system needs to be transformed. Think outside the box. Shoot, there shouldn't even be a box, right? You need to rebuild that box. You need to rebuild that edifice, right? So I want to close by saying part of this is our mentality, right? So we've got to dismantle our own systems where we keep ourselves confined, and I'm as guilty as that as anybody else. The first opportunity I had to become a dean, I was like, did they not see I'm black? Did they not see I'm a woman? Did they not see that I'm a double immigrant, that I have dreadlocks? I had all the explanation for why I would never be a dean, right? I myself was not liberating my own mentality. So to quote Bob Marley again, emancipate yourself, right? From mental slavery, for none but ourselves can free our minds. Redemption song. Because it's your time. It is your time. It's not my time, right? My theory is I'm going to do as much as I can, as long as I can, before they figure out what I'm doing. But I'm doing it because I believe that you all will transform this society. And like I said, we need you to do it. All right, so I'm just trying to tie some things together. You've heard the brilliance of my colleagues. You're going to hear some more brilliance of my friends and colleagues tonight, but this is your time. My job, our job, is to try to continue to open those doors and to pave the way, and then you lead in the law. All right.